So good morning, everyone, and welcome to this EDS UK webinar with Imogen Roux. And Imogen, thank you so much for agreeing to run this practical webinar session of voice and breath exercises. So this is a practical session, and Imogen will run through that with you with a bit of information to start. So just a bit of housekeeping. You'll all be on mute to ensure that everyone can hear Imogen properly. Nobody can hear you, no one can see your screen. The only things being recorded are myself and Imogen. We'll have a Q&A session at the end, and I will give you time to pop questions in the chat function after the end of the session, because I know that you'll be hopefully taking part in the session and not able to do it as we go along. I've got a couple of questions for Imogen to get us started anyway. If for some reason your phone, Wi-Fi, tablet kicks you out, just come back in, rejoin the session, and you know, you'll come automatically in. And just to sort of say, because it's a practical session, please do make sure that when you are sitting, lying down, however you're going to be taking part in the session, please make sure you're comfortable and make sure it's a safe space. So nobody's going to open a door on you, or a cat's going to jump on you, or any of those things. Just make sure that all is well. So thank you for listening to that, and please enjoy the session. And Imogen, it's over to you.
Thank you so much, Nikki, and good morning to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I think we're just probably waiting, you know, hypermobile time. It could take us a minute, so we might have a couple of people coming in. So I thought, why not just start by taking a breath all together. So if you would like to take a breath in and just let it go on your exhale, however you want to. But I thought, actually, it's tempting to talk, but I'd rather just get straight into it. So another time, hi, Becky. Just take the breath in and release it out. One more time, and this time, I just want to offer a thought, a little bit of imagination that a teacher of mine, Fred Johnson, gave to me, which is take a breath in from the edge of the universe and just see, how does it help you to drink it in slower with that sense of space and time? So taking that breath in from the edge of the universe, all the way to full, feeling your body expand, and then releasing it all the way out. Really lovely. I just thought that would be a nice way for us to land together. And speaking of that, I am very lucky that I get to work with a lot of hypermobile people. I am also one myself. And something that I know is that we often have very busy minds, and we have intrusive kind of thoughts. My brain is often doing 10 things at once. And if we're in a conversation and it dips for a second, I can't catch the thread because I'm doing 3 other things and singing a song in there. So I wanted to offer you just a moment to write down, how are you feeling today? How are you doing? Is there anything, your roommate, work, lunch, whatever it is, that's just bothering you? I just wanted to give us all an opportunity to write down whatever it is that we need sort of out of our mind and onto a piece of paper. The invitation is that it might allow you to feel a little bit more present for the rest of the hour. So any intrusive thoughts, write them down on a piece of paper, get them out the way. Wonderful. I'm not going to look at the chat loads as we're going, just because I will get quite distracted. But yeah, thanks. Nikki's just written how she's feeling this morning. And if anyone would like to just put in the chat, how are you doing today? I'm going to give you a clue how I'm doing today. Here's one can of Lucozade, full. Here's an empty one. So I'm feeling really shaky. I'm feeling pretty rubbish, but I'm actually very excited to be here. So yeah, I would say shaky, distracted. Hi, Alison. I know that feeling very, very well. If anyone's feeling tired or anxious, or like you don't have it, overwhelmed, oh my gosh, I bet you've got friends in the chat as well. Sore, in pain. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing these. A good day. Good. I'm glad. We have to celebrate those days. So wherever you've come from, just an opportunity to pop that down and notice, how are you feeling? What's going on? So we have got an hour and a half together. I might just close the window. Can anyone hear my neighbour who's just started sort of leaf blowing or something? Can't hear, can't hear. Hear it? No, no. Okay, mostly no. Good. If it distracts you, let me know. So we have an hour and a half together, and I could talk through all of that. And what I want to do is actually give you a experience. I want to give you an experience of this work. So we have an opportunity afterwards to ask questions. Try and write a note in your notebook. It will be there for you. If there's anything that you did want to ask about afterwards. I'm going to close the window because I can't think, so I will be right back. That is marginally better. Okay. So we are going to move towards the floor. So if you are somebody who is having a rough day with POTS or dysautonomia, whatever it is that you are dealing with, just to let you know, that's the movement we're going in. So if you need to start doing that now, go for it. I wish I could be with everybody physically so that I could adjust you and see all of your bodies. Sadly, that is not the case. But I just want to empower you that you do know your limits, and actually that we are going to do something very gentle that's all based on your physiology. So the risk of this should be pretty low. Right, other than that, my name is Imogen, and I am a hypermobile voice coach. I have been hypermobile my whole life. I was a patient from the age of about 3, and it's become the biggest immovable obstacle. It's every day. It's like, for many of you, it's a huge part of my life. And so I went to go and research expressive voice work for hypermobile people and chronic illness patients, because as you will well know, there is simply not enough out there that genuinely helps us. And from my background, which is professionally singing and performing, I've done a huge amount of speech training. And what I found was that actually this work was the most effective thing I could do to build a practice where I was connecting to my body. I don't know if anyone knows this feeling. My body doesn't always feel like it's mine. And my voice does not always feel like it can speak and show up and be heard. And so I just wanted to encourage you that, yeah, we're going to have a look holistically at the voice today. So not just the physical aspect, but also the emotional aspect. I take it very seriously, also having a lot of fun, but I take it very seriously in the sense that, to me, our voices are our audio fingerprint. They are completely unique. They are the essence of you. And they are what delineates us from animals. It's what makes us human, is that we have this ability to complex communication. As you know, often this condition actually takes your voice and your breath away. So today, I just want to give you that experience of, can I connect to my body in a slow and gentle way? Does it always feel safe? Probably not. But actually, when we're together, why is it that actually having a witness to it and a guide to it can make it feel a little bit different to spend time with your body? So we're going to touch on a few common things. So 2 would be dysphagia, and what would the other one of that be? Brain fog. That was ironic. But yeah, dysphagia and brain fog. So if you struggle with those, we're going to touch on those a little bit. If you are somebody who deals with anxiety, as most of us do, or dysphonia, so losing your voice regularly, all of the exercises we do should be appropriate, healthy, and safe for you. Your mission, and write this down if you tend to overthink, I'm going to give you a whole load of things, just a load of different tools. Your mission is to say, this works for me, and I'm going to keep that. Write it down. Make it your own, keep it safe. And if you don't like something, just throw it away. You don't need it. That's it. Don't overthink it. We're going to take what works. We're going to leave what you don't like. And last thing to say, I promise I will stop talking, is we are going to, we're going to move into that sort of position now to start practical work. So find what is comfortable for you. I know that's a really loaded term and it's a really difficult thing to find in our bodies. If you can lie down, even if it's quite a difficult place for you, if you need support, you have reflux and things like that, that's absolutely fine. Give yourself some bolstering, get comfy. Genuinely, if you want to lie with your back down, your feet up the wall, or any such sort of pretzeled hypermobile position, go for it. That's what you need to do. That's how you're going to show up. That's absolutely fine. If you are having a day where you really can't physically move, you can think this, you can imagine all of this work, and it still impacts your nervous system. So depending on how I am each day, I'll do it to a different degree. So bringing ourselves down to the floor, I'm going to do a little bit of demonstrating, and then I'm going to come up to sit, a little bit of demonstrating, come up to sit. But what we are going to do is warm into our nervous system. So using or experiencing that physical connection and that deeper, personal, more emotional connection. So as you come down to the ground, I'm going to offer you probably the most critical part of this work, which is a principle. And a principle of work is going to keep you safe. It's going to lessen your likelihood of injury. Your principle is 50% less effort. Again, I'm very lucky to work with a lot of hypermobile people, and we try really hard. So I really want to give you that permission. Just let 50% of it go. Let the muscularity of it just go. So coming down to the floor, your first mission is just bring a hand on your body and notice, where are you breathing? Where is your body breathing today? What have you got going on naturally? Where is the movement of the breath? I can feel my belly starting to move, but it's more naturally up here because we had some tech stresses this morning. So just noting, where is the movement of my breath? Can you feel your heartbeat? You can close your eyes, keep your neck looking up at the ceiling if you're lying down, just in a nice sort of relaxed alignment. And see, first of all, can you just observe your breath without doing anything to it? So without manipulating it at first. I'm going to ask you next to take a breath into that principle. So we're starting to marry our actions with the breath. So thinking about that effort, just 50% of it just falling away. So breathing in that principle, 50% less effort, and then just breathing out that thought. 50% less effort and out. Really lovely. From here on in, you might notice that what we are doing is working very slowly, and we're bringing conscious thought to processes that are usually not conscious. The reason that we do that is because we can influence our nervous system, which lives in your body. We can influence your nervous system to find a little bit more safety, to find a little bit more release. So the first thing that we are going to do is one of my very favorite exercises, and this is called a pandiculation. So stay on the floor in your private world and I am just going to share an image for you. Now, if you have animals or have been around animals, you will know a pandiculation. Dogs are some of the most amazingly nervous system connected animals. Technically, a pandiculation means an involuntary soft tissue stretch. So very relevant for hypermobile people because it is our tissues. But we are going to do this a little bit consciously. Remember your principle. Think about waking up in bed for a really gentle stretch. And just allow that stretch to fully happen. If you feel good doing it, you can really allow the stretch in all kinds of different directions. You can also just take it kind of slow. And if you can't do it today, you can imagine it. Let your legs join in. Your feet, your hips. If they feel good. And what you will notice is that your breath starts to join along with it. You might even start yawning, which is a great sign that you have activated, made a connection with that nervous system. If you can't do it, or you can only do a little bit, just look at those animals having a stretch. And think about your neck, your armpits, your ankles, your knees, the backs of your knees, your genitals, hip flexors, abdominal muscles. And you're going to let that movement gently come to an end. The body is going to lead that movement. The video is now up. Oh, you stopped the share. Thank you. Brilliant. I'm not very good at tech, so forgive me. I get a little confused. But if you are down and stretching, then stay there. That is wonderful. And just take a moment with your hand on your body post-stretch. I think of it like a rain stick sometimes when I stretch. It's like shh, and then everything has to settle at the bottom. Just take a moment and just observe what you find. Lovely. The next exercise that we are going to do is an internal pandiculation. This is something that you will have done probably today and every day of your life, especially since we are chronically fatigued. So this is a yawn. Now, before we do this, I want to encourage you to think about the yawn happening at the back of the throat. We can be very prone to issues with the TMJ, the masseter, and all the muscles around the jaw. This isn't about hyperextending the mouth and the jaw. We're not trying to do that. Think about the back of the throat being like an enormous stained glass window. And what we're doing when we do this is we're actually pandiculating, stretching, but we're doing it internally. So give yourself a little bit of contact with that central tube. So from your mouth all the way down past your throat, down into your organs, and then down towards your anus. That is the beginning and the end of the tube. So with that in mind, can we pandiculate with the sense of a yawn? And you can totally fake this. Your body doesn't actually know the difference. And if you fake it, you might encourage a real yawn. So just think about finding space inside that tube and see if you can make contact with it. Can you feel that yawn stretching down the inside of the throat? It's a really wonderful way of releasing all of these muscles around the neck, the tongue, the jaw. If you have any soreness in your tongue or the back of your throat, take it really easy. Just do a couple of yawns and let it go. I wish I could see you. It's kind of weird talking to 200 people and nobody at the same time. So our next exercise is going to be something that you've also done a million times. But this is actually another primal connector to your nervous system. So very simply, it's a sigh. But I'm going to offer you two thoughts around this sigh. We all know how to sigh, but it's considered rude in society. So we tend to stifle them like the yawn, excuse me, and we don't get the benefit of it. So your invitation is to fully embrace this sigh. And we're going to start finding the idea of I'm bringing up what is in my body with the inhale, and then I'm releasing it out of me, out into the world with my exhale. So just give yourself a little sigh, bring a hand on the body and see if you can feel that. One more time, in through the nose. A little bit of sound if you want. And just sigh it out. Stay in your position. I'm just going to come up to take us through the next part of the sigh. I would love to offer you the sense of either relief or pleasure. So we're going to start attaching, again, this idea of imagination, like the edge of the universe, to our breath, so that we can start to influence that nervous system. So thinking about relief or pleasure. Pleasure is a very radical thing for a pained body. It might be too far today for some of us. That's fine. So in that case, let's think about relief. What if I said, hey, everybody, after this, work is cancelled. Bills are gone. We're all moving to the Caribbean, and I've gotten rid of every insect that could bother you. And if you're allergic to pineapple like me, no longer. It's all going to be great. So let's take a breath into our new life in the Caribbean. With a sigh of relief, sigh it out. Oh. One more time in your own space. And I really encourage you to invest in that sigh. And start noticing if when you take the next breath, is there actually more breath there? So when I come to the end of my sigh, is there actually a few seconds I could just hang out, letting the air escape? Right, let's take a little break and a little move. If anybody needs to shuffle, change position at any point, then go for it. That's absolutely fine. We're going to take little breaks as we go through, so keep us not too distracted and keep us moving. Take a sip, do what you need, make a note. Or feel free to make a note in the chat. Liz can yawn for England. Yeah, I bet there's a few yawners in this cohort. I'm always fascinated by the fact that these things that are so good for us, yawning, sighing, are considered rude. Fascinates me. Yeah, got another yawner with Ness. Sighed. Yeah. I used to get in trouble at work for doing that, but it's a reflex and I couldn't help it. A yawn with noise. Yes, wonderful. We will take that. That is fine. It's made me very sleepy. Well, I hope that's in a nice way. Always in trouble at school, told off by mum. Yep. It's fascinating, isn't it? So perhaps really, if all we take today is, you know what, I'm going to reclaim that yawn, I'm going to do it loud and proud, I'm very happy with that. Lovely. Love the pandiculations who were saying that. Helen, wonderful. So the reason they're so fantastic is because actually you are lessening your likelihood of injury because it's a primal movement. Yeah, it's a sign the nervous system's changed state. You are entirely correct. Can we get a recording? You will have a recording of this afterwards so that you can do this as you like. Yeah. Always stifling yawns. Yep, yep, yep. Oh, it's tough, isn't it? You don't want to be rude to other people. Okay, wonderful. All right, we are going to move on to our next aspect. We are going to explore, and that is going to be good old swallowing. So swallowing is something that many of us are going to have issues with. I'm going to get rid of the chat now because I'm getting distracted because I want to talk to all of you. Swallowing is a really common issue. This is called dysphagia in its technical scientific term. You might not have complete issues with sort of stomach digestion, swallowing, complete shutdown around food, like gastroparesis, but you might experience that when you are stressed, when you are flaring, when you are tired, swallowing becomes a lot more difficult. So the first thing that we are going to do is make physical contact with this area. I would like for you to check yourself because something about us, because we are chronically pained, makes us want to gouge in and really make us feel something. I'm going to ask you to remember your principle, take it super gently, and just make contact in the most loving way, like you would with a puppy or like grandma, the most loving way. You could just bring a little bit of feedback to the throat. So a lot of our vocal apparatus, whether it's the diaphragm, whether it's the larynx, we don't have a lot of feeling of those muscles inside. So this is a really good way of building that relationship. And you'll find these two little grooves, don't gouge them, just might want to bring your sigh back in. Especially if you're someone who has issues with swallowing. So that is the first thing we're going to do, is really just make that physical contact. And it is really important. Go very, very slow. And what we're going to do now is add the second part. So this is a thought. So like we talked about, you can think yourself doing it. You can think yourself. That's actually a really lovely way for hypermobile bodies to take direction. So when you swallow, what's actually happening is it's a coordination of lots of different movements. But the key part is we focus on the bunching up. What I want us to do, and I really encourage you to use gesture, is to think about the bunching up and then think, just think about that yawn afterwards. So give it a go with a gesture if you can. You're welcome to do this lying down. I'm just doing it so I can feel like I'm talking to people. But whatever position is absolutely fine. Muscles bunch up, think yawn, muscles release afterwards. You can probably see it in my larynx as well. So muscles. And there's just a little drop. So that's just encouraging. I probably did it a bit too much there because I'm demonstrating. But all that is doing is really just encouraging that sense of openness. We are always looking for a little bit more release around the voice. So number one, physically touching. Number two, using gesture and thinking about that second part of the swallow, just that sense of a yawn. The third part, you may have done before if you've done speech and language therapy, and most people who come to me have tried speech and language therapy, and so this might be, this is a common exercise, but it's called the chin tuck swallow. And what it does essentially is it shortens the tube, the the distance that the bolus, the food, medication, whatever, has to travel. So instead of bunching up, releasing, think yawn, what we're going to do now is just allow the chin, remember your principle, not too much effort, allow the chin to drop. Small bunching up, and then just think, release. And just notice for yourself, does that feel any different in the quality of swallow compared to neck up, neck straight, chin tucked, chin sort of neutral? Just give it a go for yourself. If you are somebody who has a lot of tightness around the throat, do this a couple of times. Unpleasant to do the short one. That's okay. That absolutely may not be for you. So Liz, that's a throw that one away if it's not feeling good. Very uncomfortable. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Don't seem to be able to do that. That's absolutely fine. So we've all got different muscles that are pulled into different positions. So some of these are going to feel good, some of them are not going to feel good. And then also what we have to do is distinguish what is comfortable versus what do I find comfortable. You may connect to this thought. It is not technically comfortable for me to do this all the time or have my head on my knees, but to me, it feels like comfortable. Didn't get how to yawn swallow. That's fine. You're not actually yawning. All you're doing is just thinking about doing that process of the swallow with gesture, and then thinking literally a thought of that yawn, just so that the throat doesn't stay close and tight. So we're just allowing the muscles to bunch, and then we're just feeding in that thought of release. No discomfort or pain, can't seem to hold and then release my throat. That's absolutely fine. So this is a practice, and that's absolutely fine. Not a problem if that is not for you. So yeah, as I said, this is a practice. So it's something that, yeah, if you go, you know what, I'm a yawner, I'm not going to be doing the swallowing. That's great. My next thing to say is if you do have issues with swallowing, I recommend you do all of the release stuff rather than attacking the swallowing head on. Often it's actually going to be releasing the muscles around it that are going to help you a lot. Fabulous. We are just over half time. So if anyone needs to pop to the loo, you can take a break. If we are happy to carry on, I am happy to do that. Loo break, please. Yeah, there's something about lying on the floor also activates the bladder. So yeah, go for it. That's absolutely fine. Don't worry about the swallowing. Remember, take what works, throw away what doesn't. Absolutely fine. So, yeah, I think I've confused you. So all it is just to think about the swallow. It's an unconscious process. And what it does is it brings muscles into tension. You have a lot of different things that are coordinating to make that happen. So all it is just when you swallow, because things tend to get tense and tight, I would like you to think about just releasing in the throat afterwards. So if you can't yawn, think about being an opera singer and just being about to take that first note. Ooh, whatever it's going to be. It's just that thought. And what that does is actually activate the back of the throat, which helps those muscles that we've just used to release a little bit. So all it is just bringing that process that we don't usually think about and thinking about it. All you're doing is swallowing. All you're doing is swallowing. And then afterwards, you are just thinking the thought of a yawn. So in the simplest sense, we are making a little just a little connection, a little bit of a relationship with this tube, and what does it feel like to find space? Our bodies will tend to, because we are in pain, pain makes you go inward and it tends to clamp and cramp. So all of what we're doing, pandiculating, yawning, swallowing, and then thinking about opening is just about going, okay, if I've got a tube in me, how open does it feel today? Can I get it to feel a bit more release, a bit more openness? Because that is the tube that your voice is traveling through. That is where you are vibrating. More about these. Fabulous. Susie, I did a webinar about this that's more in depth. So if you haven't seen that from 2023, I would go there. So with the yawn, I will recommend you, Ness, to yawn and pandiculate. So do it in that primal way where it is fitting your nervous system. So after you wake up, have that yawn, have that stretch, so that you are actually doing things that really are in line with your physiology. Okay, I'm going to just turn the chat off because otherwise we won't do any other things. But we do have questions after. Are we okay for me to carry on? Are we back? Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about brain fog. So, obviously we would need a week to scratch the surface of any of these subjects. It's actually difficult getting this all into an hour, but brain fog is one of the biggest obstacles in my life. Usually at 11 p.m, I've spent all day feeling underwater and my body's like, I'm ready, I'm here. And it is a real nightmare. So if any of you struggle with brain fog, this is for you. I want to say very clearly, this is incredibly difficult to do unprompted. I teach this. I find it difficult to do this unprompted. So that's why this really is a practice. It's a practice so that we can build. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by comments. It's a practice so that when you practice it out of a flare, when you are in a flare, it's going to start to show up for you, hopefully. So what we tend to do when we are stressed, when we are in unnatural positions, like walking on concrete, cement, when we're sitting at desks, when we're feeling air hungry, when we're pressurized and stressed, what we tend to do is we tend to start pulling up. Anyone recognize these breaths? That sort of panic breath where it starts really using the shoulder. Well, we start to really over-focus on the inhale. That is the opposite of your physiology. So what we are going to do for the rest of our hour is we are going to emphasize the exhale. Now, just touching on the idea that your breath is a very emotional thing, have the question in the back of your mind, is full a comfortable place for me, or is empty a more comfortable or familiar place to me? Just so that we can know for yourself. I personally love being empty. That makes me feel panic. Empty makes me feel good. But a lot of people are the opposite to that. They need to have breath to feel okay. And actually empty can feel quite threatening. However, that is not in line with your physiology. Your physiology really is focused on the exhale. And if you exhale fully, your next inhale will just arrive in the more efficient way. So I'm going to demonstrate this sense of emptiness to you for a moment. Now, remember your principle. I don't want anyone passing out or pushing themselves. However, I do want you to trust yourself and maybe challenge what is comfortable for you. So I'm going to put my feet flat on the floor. All I'm doing this for is just to show you or prove that when we go to empty, we've actually got a lot of capacity left. So I'm going to come all the way to empty, and then I'm going to shush, shh, and then I'm going to speak even when I'm empty. Hello, 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 hello. Shh. All the way to empty. Ha, 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 ha. Hello, hello, hello. That's just me proving it. You don't need to do that. So when you feel empty, you still have a good liter of air inside, just to give you that sense that you are not going to crumple and collapse. Okay? Great. I had a lovely video for you, but we had some tech issues earlier and I don't have it in me for that to go wrong. So what we are going to do is just touch into your diaphragm and your ribs. You can do this from the floor. You don't have to look at me. You can do this from any position. These areas of the diaphragm and the ribs are really important. Your diaphragm, yes, you can do it on a bed, Elaine, absolutely. Bed, sitting up on a sofa, you know, belly on the floor, all of it will work. It's absolutely fine. Your diaphragm is actually what makes you breathe. A lot of us have issues with breath and lungs, but your lungs are completely inert. They cannot move without your diaphragm and your ribs. So we're going to make a little bit of contact with the diaphragm, and I'm going to show you on my ribs. And you can find it on your own ribs. So really gently, remember your principle, do not hurt yourself. We're just going to bring the fingers around to find where is it that this diaphragm cuts off the lungs, the thorax, the chest. It cuts off chest and thorax from organs down below. So it's here. And if you found the front, can you find the side and the back? Your diaphragm attaches to your ribs all the way around, and then it attaches in to your spine at the back as well. The reason that we are demonstrating this is because your voice works in movement. It attaches to your lowest rib, and your ribs might be lower than you perhaps thought. Now, if you have ribs that slip out, take this really, really gently. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's ribs are different. So we're just making that physical contact like we did with the throat, like we did with the hand on the belly at the beginning, just warming the area. Give it a rest, like your rain stick. Just notice, what does it feel like now that I've given that some physical feedback? Does it feel like your belly, your ribs are just a little bit more expansive? A lot of us have issues in this area. You might have costochondritis. That's something that I get, which is an inflammation of the joints between your sternum and your ribs. You might lie on your side and your ribs slip out. So just make a really gentle, again, we're starting to build a relationship very slowly with these parts of the body. Fantastic. I would love to show you more about the diaphragm and the ribs, but we don't have time. So what we are going to do is just start to work that exhale a little bit. I'm going to move back down to the floor and just demonstrate what is happening. Well, what we're going to do is find empty together. See if you can just let the air escape from your body. And then allow the next breath in gently through the nose. But instead of it being in, out, now we're going to think about the breath as being out is the first part. And in. I really encourage you to use your hands low and place your hands low on the body and then just take that breath in. And really gently fill the hands. We're going to do this for a minute, and I would love for you to notice what is happening in the body. So as you exhale, my organs are moving towards my spine. My ribs are narrowing, especially the emptier I get. There's a need for breath. My brain says breathe. But do I need to breathe? So we're just going to investigate slowly that sense of breathe out, finding empty really gently. Breathe in. And out. Breathing in, filling your hand. Letting your low body move and respond. Remember that your voice is movement. It's the movement of the diaphragm, your ribs, your lungs. So just thinking about space. You might want to think about your sigh that you found before. Let's take 2 minutes to do this. And your mission is, first of all, remember your principle. And second of all, so 50% less effort. And second of all, can you allow that exhale just to be a little bit longer than the inhale? We're not pushing anything. We're not doing the Olympics of breathing. We're just trying to feel okay. Let your exhale lead. Notice the body physically moving with the breath. And let the exhale just be a little bit longer. If you want to, and you feel like your breath is coming in nice and deep, you can add to this. So instead of on top of having the hand low on the body, you can just bring a hand onto the side so that you can see, can I feel that this can move as I breathe in? And can I feel that these ribs, they have room to expand as I breathe in? Just going for a sense of openness, release, space. Hope we are all doing okay with the exhale. If it is making you feel anxious, yeah, Helena, that's absolutely fine. If it feels like you've only got a shallow breath, that's not a problem. All you need to do is stick with that principle and just go, great, if this is all I've got, if that is all I've got today, that's fine. And if I can push it a micro millimeter, that's okay. But if I can't, I'm just going to be curious. I'm going to be present with my breath. And then who knows, as we keep pandiculating and releasing some muscles, you might find access to a little bit more. But Helena, I would imagine there are other things around the ribs, the body, the pelvis, hips, throat that are probably affecting your breath as well. Okay, so we are going to add a little bit of sound into this, and I really encourage you to think about this not like English. It's not English, and it doesn't need to be. So what we're going to do is use the sound of a W. So, ooh, ooh. It's almost a vowel, but it has really floppy, relaxed cheeks. So first of all, just find that empty. We're going to take a breath in together, and then we're just going to play with that sound. So breathing in and so it's a W sound, but you're just allowing it as a continuous sound all the way to empty, nice and gently, really relaxed. Breathing in through your nose, low into the body, and if it is hurting you to make sound, take it really easy. Take a swallow, take a sip of water, and stop there. If it feels good, carry on. Just 30 seconds with that ooh, that W sound. Keep falling asleep. You know what? Most of us struggle with sleep. So if you get a nap out of this, Philippa, I am happy for you. Probably a good sign your nervous system has had a little release. This really isn't about curing us. It is honestly about just giving us moments that feel like relief from our body, or moments where we get to actually be present in our own bodies. Okay, this has absolutely flown by. So we have got two more things to do. Yeah, the first one is that we are going to hum. So what we've just done with the W, just close that lip up gently. You can keep your teeth parted so that nothing is clenching in the jaw. And with this sound, this hum, we are all in different places, but I'm going to encourage us to bring a bit of a pandiculation into it. This is something that I use to activate my nervous system sometimes, but in a calm way. So if I feel like just a sort of underwater zombie for the whole day, this is a really lovely way of seeing, oh, can I feel vibrations in my fingertips? Can I send this sort of internal massage? So in your own space, we're going to take 90 seconds just to pandiculate and have that lovely hum where your breath is focusing on the exhale. Next breath is going to come in nice and low. And your mission is to see in your very gentle way, with 50% less effort, can I just feel and experience my body vibrating with my voice? I'm going to go on mute. Let's go. And before we finish this moment, hum into that central line, that tube that goes from your mouth to your anus, and within it lives that central nervous system. And just see if you can hum your nervous system, your spine up and down. And bring that to a close. Just let your sound, let your voice find the end of that. Yeah, just humming on the out breath. You can hum on an in breath, but it usually happens in Scandinavia. Yes, Angela's saying depending on where your head and neck is, it changes the sound. Completely agree. And day to day, it's going to change too. Also, where you are in your cycle of your period might change the phonation, the sort of vibration quality of your voice as well as the collagen changes. Again, very relevant for hypermobile people. Our last thing that I would love to do together is an intone. And an intone is humming, but open. So it is not English. And I really encourage you with our last couple of minutes, just see how bravely you can allow your voice to emerge. So what we are going to do, we're going to do this on mute privately first. And then last thing, I want to just have a little messy hypermobile hum with all of you and just come off mute. So first we're going to stay on mute, and I want you to see in your 50% less efforted, principled way, can you fill the room you are in with your vibrations? So it is the difference between the humming we've just done and just opening the mouth. So I'm just going to demonstrate. Come to empty, breathing in through the nose, nice and low. Intone, so I'm going to start with a hum. I'm going to let it drop open. That's an intone. It's just a sound that's released through an open mouth, and there is a continuous sound. So go for it in your own space. Think about the sense of that yawn just to bring you open. Really gentle, and challenge yourself, be brave. If you don't have a lot of sound today, keep your hand on the body so that you can feel the air or you can feel the vibration. At the end of the out breath, the sound disappears. Yes, that's pretty normal, especially if you are feeling tired in the throat, or if you're feeling tired in the diaphragm. Bit stadium rock, love it. Voice is feeling good, amazing. So just gently, everybody, we're going to take a little hug. Remember, your nervous system doesn't know what's real, so give yourself that hug. Don't dislocate your shoulders, but just give yourself that sense of feedback around your back. And if you are willing, would you please come off mute? I don't know if you're allowed, but we'll see.
It can't come off mute.
It can't come on. Okay, Nikki, would you do one with me and everyone else? We're going to imagine we can hear you. Are you up for it, Nikki? You are the best.
What I'm doing.
So we are going to take a breath in and then simply all together even if I can't hear you, I'm going to imagine that I can hear you all around the world, in your rooms, wherever we are. And just, I wanted to end with just a moment of collective voice. There are so many things that make our voices unheard in the world. And it's so, yeah, it's just very exciting to be able to hear all of our voices around the place. So even though we can't hear you, on 3, we're all going to take a breath in, and somewhere we can feel and sense those vibrations. So on 3, we're going to breathe in and then start with a hum and just ma and just let it be. Okay, Nikki, you ready? Everybody, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Take a nice breath in through your nose and share it out. And let it go. That was beautiful. Nikki, I'm so sorry I put you on the spot, but you're my
No, not at all.
I love that you did. Thank you.
A nice way to end. I think everybody probably joined in with that. As you say,
Yeah.
it would have been a collective noise.
Would have been a hell of a noise. So everybody, would you please thank yourself for coming and being here? It is so difficult to show up for things, and I completely understand that. So I'm honored that you spend this time engaging with this work. It's so, yeah, it's so powerful, and it's a practice. So please do keep going with it, just gently. Write down whatever worked for you, and throw away what didn't. Please write down, oh my gosh, you're already starting to do it, but please write down in the chat, how do you feel? How do you feel? And it's not a cure. I'm not trying to cure you. I know that's not how it works, but just, yeah, you know what? I felt really shaky this morning. Like, I feel better after doing this. So it's just a nice way. Really glad I came. Feeling as rubbish as I did. Angela, I'm so glad you came. Thank you. I feel open, says Erin. I feel ready to receive the weekend. Beautiful. 50%. Yes. Honestly, that principle has it's changed my life. Relieved and braver. Oh. And it's
so nice to know what you look like.
Nikki looks like. I agree.
Oh, we've got some lovely feedback in there. Whilst everybody's kind of getting back into position slowly and getting themselves back, etc. I've got a few questions that have already gone up in the chat, so probably not long to just quick answers for you, Imogen. If you can't lie on the floor, can these exercises be done on a bed?
100%. Bed is very, very good. Bed is good. Chair is fine. Fetal is good. Okay. I also recommend try on your front, because what you're going to do is you're actually going to activate your back ribs to start moving, and you're going to feel the feedback of your belly. So really try this in all different positions.
Lovely. How often should you practice these for the best results?
That's a really good question. So the incredible thing about your body is that when you start to do what is most efficient physiologically, your body responds within a few weeks. So I promise you, if you do this practice, and I'm going to share afterwards, I'm going to ask, I'm going to share afterwards the list of what we did.
Okay.
It was in the presentation, but we didn't have tech today. Then it will actually start to show up for you. So I really recommend that you do this before you do anything. This is the basis of what I do. I did this.
So this is the wake up in the morning and do this first. Okay.
Yeah. So all of that stuff that just rebalances the body and checks you in with yourself. So pandiculate is always the first thing. Yawn, sigh, swallow. If that feels good to you, the swallow, it doesn't for some people, that's fine. So all of that stuff, it is impossible to do too much. You can pandiculate as much as you want, all day, every day. I
actually think that's become my new favourite word of Saturday.
Yeah.
such a great word. Is
I
it
agree.
usual that your voice can keep going, like not working after a nap? So, you know, is that you wake up from a nap and you should do it all over again?
Absolutely. So all of your voice is a very complex coordination between different muscles. So your diaphragm has to send that signal, it has to contract down, and then it pulls your lungs, and then your ribs come out, and then there's this force back up so that your voice can be heard. It's a really complicated process. So when you go to sleep, especially when you're a little funky like us, everything can get a little bit pulled out of the way. And especially if you are a mouth breather when you sleep, you are dragging air past your larynx and a lot of these sort of very collagen-rich tissues. So definitely, any time that you are sleeping, you're going to find you just need to warm up. Humming is a really wonderful one. Most actors, and I know we've got some actors here, will know if you've got 5 minutes to warm up, hum, just hum really gently, and think about yourself. It's not a tight humming. It's a really open, think about the yawn. It's a really open hum. So I want you to think about yourself like a drum or a guitar and see how much you can get yourself to resonate. When we have chronic pain issues, we start getting more and more tensions, and it's almost like wet blankets have been put over a drum, and it just doesn't work in that free way. Just one more thing about the person asking when to do this: before bed as well. A lot of us have issues with anxiety, and resetting before bed is incredibly important. So I was doing this in the bath last night, humming away. But yeah, just see what works for you. Hum down the street. Just, yeah, try not to be worried about using your voice. And it's so hard because so many of us have chronic vocal issues.
Lovely, thank you. Are there any resources you would recommend for the distractedness, thinking of all these things at once, with the anxiety, with EDS that you spoke about, or is it practicing these exercises?
I think there are some people and practitioners who talk really well about the what and the why. So like Dr. Jessica Eccles, who I know has been part of this webinar series. I think she explains it really well. However, personality wise, and I'm very lucky that I get to work with pretty much all hypermobile people, we can get a little bit fixated into how does it work? I need to understand the logic before I do it. And I think it's partly possibly because we struggle with proprioception. It is difficult for us to know where we are in space compared to non-hypermobile people. So you may notice you bang into a lot of things, etc. And so actually doing practical work can be quite daunting for us. So I would recommend, in terms of distraction, this is the best practice. I had no idea that, you know, if I was going through school now, you could say I have ADHD, and you could say I have dyspraxia. Those are tendencies that, you know, I live with, and this is something that really helps me with those. So yeah, I really would recommend, yes, go and learn more about it, but actually take the breath and start to notice your body, because what we can't do, it's almost like walking around a body where there's fireworks going off. It's so hard for us to tell what is what. And so this is a very gentle touch start point to say, yeah, the more you get to know this, the more you're actually going to build that relationship with your body. And there's a physiological reason why distraction, procrastination is a lot easier for us than actually being present.
Lovely. And I know you want to show a slide or something as well. So just one more quick one. Can you explain why swallowing, losing your voice, throat issues can be more common in people with EDS or hypermobile EDS?
Yeah. So, not to plug my own research, but I do recommend you read the research that I did on this, because it has a lot more. It's
Where
just
would
got
they
all of
find
that
that,
information
Imogen?
that I can't remember off the top of my head. But
Where would they
there's a
find
few
that?
reasons. So, your layers of your vocal folds are made of about 45% collagen. So above average percentage of collagen for an area of the body. So your throat, your vocal folds, which produce the sound, are physically more susceptible to having issues. Tonsil stones. That's interesting. I'm sorry, I'm just writing a note about that. So we are more susceptible to having vocal issues for that reason. It's literally a very collagen-rich area. Now, the other part is you have so many muscles that stabilize your neck and your throat and allow us to do different things. And so when you are using your voice, especially to communicate, it's an incredibly complex process of things happening. If one of those parts of the process isn't working or is stuck, it makes everything else, because your voice is so connected. So for instance, you have your hyoid bone, which floats in your throat, and your hyoid bone is connected to your tongue, but you might not think about that. You have a connection through the ligaments between the back of your tongue and your shoulder blades, but we don't think about that. So many of us have issues around the neck, the sternum, the shoulder blades, issues around, jaw, swallowing. So as soon as one area is affected, the rest of the area is affected, which is why my work is very much based on finding release and starting to know what is happening, because I found that I would panic a lot less about, I can't breathe, if I knew why I couldn't breathe. So those are two things. It's a lot of muscles, which is why doing a practice is so important. And also because we have to, I think there's an emotional aspect to the voice where not only do we have to advocate for ourselves at work, also in hospital and healthcare settings, but we have to voice ourselves through pain. And that's a really difficult and painful, physically painful thing to do with the throat. Yeah.
There's been a few comments about people who have said either they find it very difficult or they can't diaphragm breathe. Is that because they can't, or do they need to practice to be able to get to that?
That's a great question. So we are all really unique, and we all have really unique bodies. So I cannot have the last word on what is going on for everybody. However, the diaphragm is one of the parts of the body. So it's also rich in collagen. It's a dome-shaped muscle, and it cuts you across. So it's your primary motor. It's responsible for about 80% of your breathing. So you may well have an issue with something around the ribs. Does this person who's asked the question, do you have any issues with rib slipping or digestion issues? Because even I get very, very shaky, and I can feel the front wall of my stomach and my diaphragm almost starts to grip sometimes. Again, especially if I'm tired or flaring. We're really, bad digestion. Thank you, Helena. I see you, I feel you. Yeah, slipping ribs and bad digestion. So can you see from that why your body may have decided, this is safer, I'm going to keep it in because I don't want things to slip? That's a completely normal reaction to being in pain and not understanding what's going on. However, the most efficient breath requires, I'm just going to show you on me, just that sense of a really gentle coming to empty, shh, 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 shh. Ribs are narrowing, just that sense of a really gentle expansion. So it will be related to something else in your body, which is why the diaphragm is gripping and it's not able to descend. It could even be related to issues with your hips. So your diaphragm is connected to your spine connects down to your major hip flexor muscles. So if you have issues around your hips, you are probably going to have issues around your diaphragm. If you have issues around your pelvis, you are probably going to have issues around your throat, because they all speak and connect to each other. Helena.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, Helena, it is a really emotional connection, and it's quite overwhelming to go, so it's not even my tongue, it's my foot that's making my voice you know, do this. It's a really overwhelming thing. So thank you for asking a question.
People who are struggling to relax their jaws, you know, people that clench. I'm interested in this. I have quite painful TMJ sometimes. Any tips with the breathing, with what the exercises you were doing for that?
Actually, the series that we were doing is good for jaws. So what we want to do with the jaw, again, this is our hypermobile brains and pain bodies, I think, challenge me if I'm wrong, I really, really don't mind, but I think we tend to want to like, yeah, get in, I want to release it, but that isn't how it works. So you've got these two primary muscles here. Now your masseter, that one, is actually the strongest muscle in your body for the size of it. It holds up so much weight. It is quite incredible. So if somebody dies, their jaw just, not immediately, but it just comes off. So basically that part of your body is very susceptible to tension. It is also very related into all of these other muscles. So our chances of having issues is just a little bit higher around this area. Most of you will probably be able to hyperextend your jaw or dislocate it at least on one side. We don't want to do that. And even though it feels like, oh, I'm stretching it, it's actually not. So I would give you two exercises. One is called the cherub. So again, it works with that principle of physical feedback. Get your hands nice and warm, and then really gently, you're going to start sending these signals of release to the body. So start working with the fascia, and your fascia, let me just think about the direction of the muscle. Yeah, your fascia is working in this direction. So we're going to start swiping down instead of sort of gouging. So yes, jaw. Think about that and just notice as you sit on the tube, go to the loo, whatever you're doing in your day, sitting at a desk. Are you crossing your legs? I tend to notice that when we do a lot of this tightens up too. So just start noticing, where is my tongue? Can I keep it on the bottom of my mouth and just allow the weight to just help my jaw sort of sit? So you've got the cherub, physical feedback, and then just notice through the day. You can put a little alarm on your phone if you want. What am I doing with my jaw? Because so many of us will have things like apnea where we just stop breathing and don't notice, or clench the jaw. My best friend is hypermobile, and she messaged me the other day and was like, I have been like this. I've been like this all day. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's very easy to do and not check in with. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm just going to answer a couple of questions that have gone in there. First of all, people are asking for the link to the 2023 webinar. I have had a quick check while Imogen was talking. I can't quite find it yet, but I will find it, and I will send it out. So apologies for that. And the other question I had was, I've put a link to your website, but that doesn't take to the research. Where can I find a link to your research to put
So
in
that's
the chat?
on, hey, Claire. I think Claire's got it. So that is, yes, if you Google it, it should come up, but it's definitely on my Instagram. There's a link
Brilliant.
and then it's there. Yeah, I think the webinar is.
Webinar has just been found. Thank you so much. I pride myself on multitasking, but I was doing quite a few things there and I couldn't find it. Thank you so much, Claire. That's the link to the website got in the chat. So yes, the link to your research, Imogen, is.
That's in the link tree on my Instagram.
Okay, so if they go, and what's your Instagram?
Hypermobile voice coach. I will write that down. Hypermobile voice coach. Yeah, there was a whole presentation. Sorry, everybody, but I just can do it all. I'm going to share what we did today, just so that you've got all of the information as well. There will probably be a couple of things that we didn't get to, because even though I went through it a couple of times, sadly, it goes really quickly.
I'm going to go in and find the link now because I want to. I know there will be people who aren't on
I've just seen a
Instagram.
question about feeding tubes. Thank you. It shouldn't be if it's impeding you, you can take it out, especially around like movement of the neck and things like that. But other than that, I think you're fine to keep them in. I work with people who keep their tubes in doing the exercises, but it is up to you. Woohoo.
That's the that's the research link. Thank you very much, Becky. Can I put that for everyone? You've done it just to us, if that's okay. Here's the research link. Oh no,
okay.
That's not worked at all. I'm just don't know what's happened there.
I've just seen a question about talking without pushing, which is a really interesting one too. I'm going to be honest, everybody. We need a week to go through the basics of what we did today, just because your body, not yours, but all of our bodies are exquisitely, wonderfully complex. So yeah, I just wanted to say, if you are enjoying this and you've got sort of really specific things you would like to work on, please do contact EDS Support UK and just tell them, you know, in an encouraging and enthusiastic way that you would like me to come back and do more things and really specific things, because I get contacted by a lot of people who are really struggling at work to make it through the day. So things like just having that reset. Someone's just asked about learning how to speak without pushing. I really recommend you start lying on the floor. Really, really, really recommend. The floor is a wonderful, wonderful thing. We would like you to come back. Yay!
I see you, Becky. I see you. I hear you.
So,
I've been heard.
So, what was I just saying? I've literally just confused myself. Well, without pushing, right? Okay, so you might start to notice that when you lie on the floor, this chin wants to activate. And what that does is just give you really good information that actually I'm not released in my body. So if you have something to practice, I'm just going to say blah, blah, blah. And if I'm doing my presentation, take a nice breath in, low in the body, gesture, blah, 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 blah. New breath. Blah, 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 blah. New breath. And I would do it like that so that you are using gravity to actually take the pressure off of your neck.
Oh, did you want to share was there a slide you wanted to share, Imogen?
I actually just put it in the chat.
Ah, okay, perfect. And so you'll send the slides to me?
I can do. It was only really just pictures of it was just the pictures of the animals stretching, really.
Well, if you could send me that would be great. I think a lot of people want that picture.
Yeah.
And then, as I said before to everybody, if you can email me on Monday, and I can send you a link to the recording. It takes a while to download and get done. So, and Imogen's. Imogen, you just sent that to just us. Hang on, you just sent that to me. Needs to go to everybody. Where did you just put it? Hang on.
Man, you guys have such good questions. I'm going to be sad if I can't come back and do more, because this is just everything I love talking about.
Let me just. There we go. Let me just pop that in there. I would suggest to you all, if you know, I will save this chat as well. But I would kind of copy and paste anything you want from there. Yes, and I just really want to finish by saying a massive thank you, Imogen. That's been really, really useful, really interesting. It's actually, you know, I do these webinars a lot on a Saturday. It's actually quite nice to have a more practical session of something where it's great to learn, it's great to understand what's going on with all sorts of things, but actually to have a practical session where you can do something, I think is also really great. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, I came to research this condition 5 years ago and I had never met a person with it before. So to go from that to really working with all hypermobile people one-to-one on their voices is such an incredible thing. But I just don't underestimate what it took for everybody to get here today, and what it means to share your voice. So thank you. And thank you, Nikki, for making this possible, because I couldn't do it without you.
No, no problem at all. It's been my pleasure. I can see people saying they can't seem to copy from the chat. Please don't worry. I will, if you email me on Monday, I will have the bits ready for you and I will send them out. Absolutely. Not a problem at all. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming and joining in as well, and joining in with this session today. And enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody, and have a great day.
Oh, I really wish I could see you all. Thank you, everybody. I would so love to come back. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
And Helen, I like your thinking, ambitious.
I've got the thing up to say stop the webinar, but there's so much lovely thank yous coming through. I'm going to sit here for a bit longer.
That's really kind. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And as I say, have a lovely weekend, everybody. Imogen, thank you so much.
Thank you. If anyone has any issues, send me a message if you are struggling, you know, if we've done something, but hopefully everyone should be fine. That was just my last thing to say.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, everybody.